Hey guys, I don't know if you heard, but there has been an item leak on Reddit for items that will be coming out potentially in the next patch. And today we're going to be talking about what the leak says, and then I'm going to be talking about what I think these items are going to do based on their names, and also what I think Dota could maybe use or what they might think is good for the game. So let's go ahead and get started. As you see with the leak, there are several different items that are coming out. And first and foremost, I see the Samurai Tabai. So this is a thonged footwear that allows samurais to plant their feet firmly on the ground while they are in the battlefield. So if we look at the cost, it costs $46.50 with a 1,200 gold recipe. That leaves us with 3,450 gold of components building up. Well, I'm going to assume that it's probably an upgraded boot that is combined with another item. So since it is a samurai standing his ground on the battlefield, I thought treads, 1,400, Dragonlance, 1,900, maybe mixed up like 50 or 100 gold on some of those components, plus the recipe, and we end up with approximately 46.50. I'm thinking it's an upgrade that benefits you or gives you some sort of like Ristal's Blade upgrade when you are standing still for a short period of time to stand your ground and right click. So I think it is an upgraded boot for ranged heroes to stand their ground. This video is brought to you guys by Dota Plus, a free app that gives you all types of information on the people you will be playing with in your pubs. But that's not all. One of my favorite features in all of Dota 2 is the Dota Plus Battle Pass that you pay for within the Dota 2 client. But why pay for that when you can get it for free with the Dota Plus app? If you check out my profile here, it gives me all the information for my last 75 matches, including my win percentage overall and a breakdown of how I performed on each individual role. I can mouse over each individual stat in case I want to know more. And not only that, but this is also a feature you can use for people from your matches that you can follow along if you would like. So you can get this in-depth breakdown for yourself and also for anyone you would like to follow to potentially learn from or study their replays. If you like the profile of the player that you're following, you can click the arrow at the top and elect to follow the profile. The Dota Plus app has all of this and even more. And if you'd like to check it out for yourself, don't forget to check out the link below and download it for free today. Next up, we got Hermes sandals. There is some mythological lore to Hermes sandals. So I'm thinking flight, I'm thinking Dota, I'm combining flight and Dota, and I'm thinking free pathing. So the recipe's 500 and the cost is 4,800. So we're looking at 4,300 gold of components, another upgraded boot. I'm looking at potentially phase boots plus Eul Scepter, combining into either a Wind Waker-esque item that is only for yourself or a Spider Legs type boot that is purchasable for 4,800 gold. So we're thinking free pathing, flying movement of some sort, upgrade of phase boots, combining with Eul's based on cost. Next up, we have Witch's Switch for 1,900, 625 gold recipe. Don't really have much to go off of here. There's severe lack of items in this category for ranged int heroes. Right-clicking carry int heroes, I think I've seen a common complaint from people that there's no way for ranged int heroes to be real carries other than like Nature's Prophet and Lina with insane stat gains as well as just rushing Maelstrom for farm. I think this is an item that somehow enables ranged int heroes to become carries. You know, Dragonlance-esque cost, stat item for ranged heroes that perhaps turns their right-clicks into magic damage, something like a Revenant's Brooch, but it's meant to enable int ranged heroes to carry the game, especially coming out with Muerta. Quite possible that she's an int ranged carry, so something that kind of works with her lore. And since it's 1,900 gold, I imagine it's a mid-game, mid-tier item meant to compare to Dragonlance for Agi ranged heroes. Next up, we got Lunar Crest. So this is oddly similar to Solar Crest. Similar cost, 2,600, recipe 600. So because there's really no opposite of giving or taking away armor, I imagine it's a counterpart to the Solar Crest, in the sense that it likely has to do with reducing magic resistance or status resistance, something like this, item like Ceremonial Robe, but it's cast on one target. So I imagine that you're now going to have Solar Crest for physical damage builds or armor-based lineups, and then you're going to have Lunar Crest to help you burst down these single targets that are a little bit tanky due to their magic resistance. So maybe like a pseudo counter to pipe, and also these beefy boys that are only really killable with a right-click damage. So maybe enabling more magic-heavy lineups. Phylactery. is the next item. Cost 2,800, recipe 300. So there was a few things that I saw when I looked this up. And first and foremost, it was leather boxes containing Torah verses worn by some Jews when they were praying. And I thought, that doesn't help me at all. I have no clue how that would apply to Dota. And then I also saw it as something that is known as an amulet or charm worn for its supposed magic or supernatural power. And I'm just like, cool, I could see how that applies to Dota, but still not much to go off of here. But then, thank you Wikipedia, it says in D&D, this object has been used to store a monster's soul to protect it from death. So, what I'm thinking is, it's like a spirit vessel combined with a Midas, combined with a Helm Dom. So it's like charges of creeps that you can store in this item to preserve the monster's soul to summon it in the middle of fight when you need it the most. So, you know, D&D, thank you so much. I hope if there's anything like this coming out, this is like my boldest prediction out of all of them, and I am just like, that would be kind of cool, but also kind of lame because it's micro, but hey, what can you do? Next up, we got Disperser. Cost 600, recipe, and a total cost of 46. So based off of Dispersion in Dota, which is Spectre's third skill, I would imagine that this is an upgraded blade mail. It's taking damage and reflecting it. So I imagine that they're doing away with Arcanist armor, and that this is likely some form of Arcanist armor, where you pop the active and it either gives an aura to your entire team, but that wouldn't really work with Dispersion. Spectre is a single target hero with Dispersion. It's either that, so it's like a teamfight item that reflects against AoE damage heroes. But what I also thought it might be is a Lotus Orb-esque item that is upgradable from Blade Mail. So I have a Blade Mail that can be upgraded and I can give it to somebody else. So rather than reflecting spells like Lotus Orb does, it's just going to reflect the damage and it's usable on yourself or teammates. That's the one I'm going more towards because that would make more sense with the way Spectre works and Dispersion as a whole. And Blade Mail's always been lacking an upgradable version of it. So the fact that it's Blade Mail plus some item that gives you targetable like a Force Staff or something, and suddenly you've got Disperser. Last but not least, we have Harpoon. Now that's a dope-ass name, and every time I think of harpoons, I think of just spearing the whale in the ocean, but it's 1,400 gold. I don't really know how that would have carried over to Dota, but what I'm thinking is that it's based on its cost and based on its name, it's probably a build-up item, early game item, similar to Falcon Blade, designed for ranged heroes because it is a ranged weapon. And I'm thinking it gives like some form of piercing damage, like Psyblade-esque spill. You know, it's like a bit of a farming item, but it's probably not going to be all that much. Nothing like a Battle Fury, of course, because it's 1,400 gold. But I'm thinking it offers a little bit of farm potential to ranged heroes. I think they're noticing the issue with Maelstrom as a whole is it's like the only item ranged heroes can go in order to farm. And I think they're trying to rework that mechanic and potentially add a cheaper, not so farm heavy, but a little bit farmy-esque ranged hero item. I'm thinking cheap items for ranged cores, and we're especially leaning towards int cores based on the Witch's Switch and potentially the Lunar Crest enabling more magic heavy carries. I had a lot of fun theory crafting what these are. Feel free to let me know in the comments section if you even think this is real, what you think these items are going to do, if you think I'm full of baloney. I'd love to hear it, guys. Please, Gaben, give us a patch. But until then, until next time, thanks for watching, guys.